Welcome to this screencast on secondary resources, the first of a screencast in this series for your legal research class. This particular screencast gives you an overview, including why we use secondary authority and where it fits in the research process. Up next in screencast 2, we'll cover dictionaries and legal thesauri. Why and how do we use secondary authority? Why do we start with secondary authority versus primary authority in your research process? Well, because a lot of times, although we're looking for a primary resource like a case or a statute, we only know the area of law we want to write about, primarily to help you, particularly in this juncture in your legal education, in your writing seminars. We use the secondary authorities in those cases to figure out the legal lay of the land and review broad concepts as well what the current developments are so you can refine your paper topics. They give you cites to the primary resources, such as cases and statutes and administrative regulations, so you don't have to wonder at every turn whether you're in the right section of the statutes or in the right body of case law. If, in contrast, you're writing as a practitioner, you can use these secondary resources as persuasive authority in the case of law reviews or restatements, if the restatements haven't been adopted as law in your jurisdiction. Or sometimes, if you're trying to figure out how to proceed through practicing in an area of law you're unfamiliar with, say in clinic or as a clerk, you can use a treatise, for example, as a how-to manual or a guidepost to make sure you're crossing your T's and dotting your I's. We also know you're engaging not only in scholarship but in clerkship, so we want to make sure you have from the get-go resources to deal with all of these things as they come up immediately, not later on in the semester. Now we'll remember, as an academic, as a scholar, when you're writing papers for your seminars, it's okay to think outside the box. It's okay to use a secondary resource as persuasive authority to put a legal theory out there that hasn't been used by someone else. Normally, what you have to do this is to find the contrary argument that somebody else has posited in a law review article or legal journal article. Usually, that if your way is a new way of looking at it, you're telling people the old theories posited in law review articles previously written are wrong. This, in contrast, this is how it's been analyzed, and here's where they made the mistake. And in contrast, here, in my theory, is where and how we need to proceed in contrast. Remember, first year strips you of thinking as an academic. They want you to think like practitioners. That's their job. They want to make sure that you can do that from the get-go. If you're writing in a seminar paper course, you're writing as a legal scholar, as an academic. So it's okay to theorize. Just explain why you're going in a different direction than others. So these secondary sources can give you an understanding in an area of law you're unfamiliar with and identify key issues in that area. Where does secondary authority fit into the scheme of things, into this legal research process? Again, secondary sources can fit into the process as far as it goes by helping you surround and get a better grasp of your legal issues and help you find your primary law. So we'll go through dictionaries, thesauri, encyclopedias, other materials, treatises, law reviews, ALRs, and restatements. We'll save continuing legal education materials, jury instructions, forms, causes of action, and other practitioner-related materials for class session on practitioner-related materials. We want to at least get these particular things like encyclopedias, treatises, law reviews into your scheme of legal research at this juncture in time. So in this screencast, we've covered why we use secondary authority and where secondary authority fits in the research process. Up next in screencast 2, we'll cover dictionaries and legal thesauri. Stay tuned.